Hey everybody, welcome back. Episode 18, Stop Complaining, Work Harder. This show is designed for government managers so you can learn from the things I screwed up over the years. And boy howdy, were there a lot of them. So, like I said, it's episode 18. We've gone over a lot of things in the meantime. And again, this isn't some hard and fast rule. Go take your government supervisor or leadership courses. They may teach you something. Frankly, I doubt it. There's a couple of good ones out there. Not many. It's rare. Nonetheless, just a little bit about myself. Carey Davis, 33 years in the government, 25 of which as a manager. I worked as a manager for DOJ, DHS, and DOT. Started out as a GS5, retired as a senior executive. Been there, done that. So when I say been there, done that, what I mean is I've fucked up a whole bunch because there was no one there to give me this advice. No one there to tell me this is a bad idea, this is a good idea. Other supervisors were around, sure, but we didn't have these kind of talks. So I'm going to give you the benefit of my mistakes. If you want, give me the benefit of your mistakes, one way or the other. Let's go over it. But we've done a lot of talking. I want to go back before we move on to episode 19. I want to recap some of the highlights. Now, this isn't inclusive. There's a lot more. We could probably have 5 or 6 recap shows now just from what I've talked about. But we're going to go forward with the big ones. And let's start with number 1. Number 1 is huge. Electronic communications discipline. All right? Now, before I keep going, stay tuned. We're going to do bullshit bingo roulette at the end of the show. And pick a word out of the book, and I'll just talk about it randomly, so it'll be fantastic. Anyways, electronic communications discipline. This is probably top of the list for any government employee, much less a manager, but it's entirely important. More important than you could ever imagine, because what you write is there forever, whether you want to believe it or not. They will go in and find anything you've typed, and they will pull it back out, and they will use it against you. I know you don't think it's true, but they will at the worst possible moment. And even if you weren't trying to be negative, they will pull it out of context and make it negative for you. Not for anybody else, just you. You will lose because of what you've written. If you can discuss something in person, do so. That's the most important lesson you can learn as a government manager. Probably as a private sector manager too, but if in 2026, if you can actually have a conversation with another human being, do so. You know, there's a long-running joke about how 2 kids will stand next to each other and text each other and not talk. I've seen government employees do that. Do not do that. Talk to other people. Have that conversation. Okay? And along with that, if something negative does go down, make yourself a little handwritten note. Date it. Sign it if you have to. Doesn't matter. But keep that note. That's called a contemporaneous note. It's admissible in both criminal and civil courts as evidence because you wrote it down at the time. You can't wait a week and write it down. You got to write it down when it happens. Somebody comes up and starts screaming at you, make yourself a little note. You see somebody doing something stupid, make yourself a little note. Write it down. I used to have a manila envelope. I've said this before. All it said was problems on the outside. And I would shove my contemporaneous notes down in there, like religion. Saved me a whole lot of trouble. Might save you some someday too. Number 2, we talked at the very beginning of this series about how leadership, management, and supervision are 3 completely different things. Okay, leadership is convincing people to do what you need them to do. And if you're a good leader, you don't have to try very hard. Leadership is not something you can learn. You can study other people, what they've done. You can study techniques. You can study all that. But until you can put it together and exhibit it yourself, you can't learn leadership. You just have to try. You have to try. And you can start with doing the right thing. When no one is looking, do the right thing. That's the basis of leadership right there. When no one is looking, when you have nothing to gain, do the right thing. Put your organization before you. Put your staff before you. Had a supervisor when I was starting out in management. Worst supervisor I've ever had, learned more from him than anybody else. First advice he gave me was, quote, "The troops eat first," end quote. Words to live by. Always give your staff the good stuff and you sweep up afterwards. Be a leader. That's leadership. You'll learn leadership if you pay attention. Pay attention to people. That will teach you leadership. Then there's management. And management is making sure that you have enough resources, they're positioned where they need to be, and they are used effectively. That's management. That your time is managed effectively. Time is a resource. That your money's managed. Any resource, time, money, people, inventory, whatever you got, how you manage that. Is it there? Did you pay the right price for it? Do you have the right ones for the task at hand? Are you putting those people forward in the right proportions? This is management. And then supervision is supervising your employees. Making sure your employees' performance level is up to snuff. Making sure your employees are doing the right thing. Making sure the correct tasks are getting done so that you can then manage that performance and that inventory to get your task done. And you do all these things by being a good leader. And yes, you will be told you're going to leadership school and they're going to teach you all about supervision. And you're going to go to supervisor school and you're going to learn nothing but management techniques. Don't bitch about it. It's still education. You can't go wrong with some education. But you need to understand that they are not the same. If you drew a little Venn diagram, they'd all meet somewhere, and how, the percentage of what they meet and where can vary depending on the job. But they are three separate things, three separate skills to learn, three separate things to develop. I have seen managers that were horrible supervisors. And I've seen supervisors that were horrible leaders. And I've seen leaders that were horrible managers. But I've never seen a great leader that was truly horrible at all three. Because in order to be a leader, you have to give the respect to your troops. They're not going to respect you if you can't manage and supervise them. And understand what that means. Okay, go back, watch the other videos from earlier. You'll understand a little bit better. And if you don't, send me a DM. I'll try to explain a little bit better. Don't care. All right, time management. We talked about this not too long ago. You are not using your time wisely. Nobody is. That's not an attack on you. No human being uses their time to the maximum efficiency possible. But you can work on it. Everybody can work on it. Take time out of your day and catalog what you do and how much time you're spending. Write out a plan for your day. Work the plan. There's an old scuba diving thing. Dive the plan. What is it? Make the plan, dive the plan. Okay? Same thing with airplanes. Make a flight plan, fly the flight plan. Don't deviate if you can help it. Well, plan your day out. Now, there's a point you're going to get to, where you no longer have control over your schedule. But try. Make yourself a schedule. Even if you don't have the chance to make your own schedule, one's going to be made for you. Stick to the schedule. Try your very best to do so. Now, the next one is really important. This goes back to the EEO thing. You're going to get OSHA complaints, violations, and shit. You may have done something wrong. Doesn't matter. But the main thing to remember when someone is bitching about you, when someone is truly complaining about you, the thing to remember is it's just business. You have to look at it. You can't let it get to you personally. If you let it affect you personally, if you take it home at night, or if it really bothers you that someone doesn't like you anymore, you need to reassess your decision to become a supervisor or manager. You're not going to go far if other people's opinions truly affect you down deep where you're soft. Don't do this. The line of people that hate my guts forms on the right. I'm a little proud of it in some ways just because I'm that kind of guy. But the fact is if you make decisions and everyone is happy, every single person that works for you is happy when you make decisions, you're not being an effective supervisor. It's just a fact of life. You're going to make decisions. People aren't going to like your decisions. And so some people are going to walk away happy. Some people are going to walk away unhappy, It's important to remember these things. And it's okay, because it's just business. And you get paid to make that decision. If people who work for you don't like the decision you made, that is regrettable for them. That's a good way to tell them that. I'm sorry you feel that way. That's regrettable for you. But it doesn't mean I'm going to change my position. Now, it's right to ask your staff for input on a decision. You should be asking your staff for input. It does two things. One, it may give you an idea you haven't thought about. But two, it helps them feel like they've had some sort of control. And that's what most human beings want in their life, is control. They want to feel like they had some little bit of it. And you listen. And even if you disagree with everything you're told, you can just ignore it. But at least you gave them the chance to tell you. But if you cut them off and you don't listen, you won't lead them very long, because they'll stop having faith in you. That's a fact. Now, you can look at it the same way with the union. All the union really wants is to be heard. Now, they're going to bitch and scream when you don't do what they want. And they're going to file, and you can go through all that mess. You deal with it, that's fine. But you listen to them. And that's the beginning. Because when you do go to arbitration, or even mediation, you get there and you can say, hey, I listened to you. I just didn't feel like it was the best path for the agency. That's why I get paid. I'm the manager. I make work assignments according to the needs of the agency. You know, within the scope of a CBA, but nonetheless, that's what I do. And so they may attack you on some technical thing, or whether or not, you know, the procedure you took followed the CBA. That's something you'll have to work through. But the fact is, they can't say you didn't listen to them. They can't say you ignored them. You listened and chose not to go the direction they wanted you to go to. That's okay. It's a good thing. But you got to listen. So, again, it all comes back to this saying, it's just business. It's nothing personal. It's just business. If you're letting it get personal, that's bad too. You need to step back, observe yourself, think about what you're doing. Now, the next one is, and this is a great one, when you're communicating with people, not every situation or question requires a response from you. Just because a question is asked doesn't mean it has to be answered. What do you mean, Carey? Someone asked a question. You need to be responsive. Sometimes you're more responsive when you don't respond. Sometimes there's a message in that. And you don't say, I'm not answering that. That's not, you're just full of shit. I'm not answering. You don't say that. You simply don't respond. If you're in person, a great thing to do when someone asks you a really stupid or outrageous question is just look at them. And use what I call the dead eyes look. Anyone that's ever seen Get Shorty, John Travolta movies, great scene where he's trying to teach Danny DeVito how to look at somebody who's a mark for a loan shark. And you got to look at them like they're nothing. They're just a tick in the book for you. Well, when someone asks you a ridiculous question, it's like, you owe me money. Just give them that look and let the pregnant pause hang. And 99% of the time, the question will go away. Now, if they're smart, they'll restate their question, or they'll say, I'm sorry, maybe I didn't say it the right way. Okay, fair, but you just give them that look, that dead eye, shark eye look. That's what you give them. Anyways, a lot of times, though, this is coming in electronic communications. So we go back to electronic communications discipline. Okay? It's come in via an email. And I think I told this story in the episode where I actually talked about this stuff. And that is, my unions, when I was with CBP, their favorite tactic was to send out a generic question to all the managers. And even though after 100 times of telling my staff, don't answer the fucking question, you come, if they have a question, we meet every month, they can sit down and ask me the question in a formal way in the meeting as the CBA calls for. But no, it couldn't be that easy. The union throws out what I called the fish hook. Thank you, Steve, for giving me that term. They throw the fish hook out, and some dumb son of a bitch is going to answer it. Somebody's going to bite. How do you feel about 30 minutes a day for personal workout time? And some supervisor goes, well, I don't like it. And then I get the grievance. Management says they don't like the 30-minute workout thing, even though it was negotiated into the last CBA. We agree. I don't like it either, but now I've had to spend 3 weeks arguing with these guys about something I agree with them on because it's already in the CBA. Why do I care? It's just a way of creating headaches for management. And they do that to keep you on your back foot so that you're always having to fight instead of just doing your job. Okay? And so when you've got an aggressive union, these are tactics they will use, and you can counter all of that by simply not answering them. And if they send an email demanding an answer, the answer is please put your question in writing and submit it at the next monthly meeting, or submit it in a meeting. Please submit it in person, whatever your CBA calls for. But don't let them bait you into biting the fish hook and answering that stupid goddamn email. But I assure you, someone on your staff is going to have a bad day and answer the stupid question. And then just be prepared. So you can deal with that, or you can go talk to your staff and fix that shit. Anyways, that's it for it's just business. And last but not least, for this week's recap, for this series recap, use plain language. Do not try to sound like a lawyer when you are not one. Don't say to wit, or worse yet, i.e. Don't do that. You sound like an idiot. Like an abject idiot. Don't do that. It's stupid. You sound stupid, and you're never going to dig your way out of it. Don't try to use words that sounds like you swallowed a thesaurus. Talk to people the way you talk to your family. Don't use bullshit bingo words if you can avoid it. I know I was the worst for it, just as bad as anybody else. I'm a hypocrite when I do my bullshit bingo, which is coming up soon. You just talk to people. Talk to them like a normal person. Look them in the eye. Oh, for you millennials and up, whatever. When you talk to someone, look them in the eye. When you shake someone's hand, and yes, sometimes you have to shake people's hands, look them in the eye. Every moment you get, look them right here, right in the eye. If you can't look them in the eye, you look right here. But you look them in the eye. And you talk to them, not to the wall, not to the floor, not to the sky. When they ask you a question, don't go, no, that's all creepy shit. Look them in the eye. Respond to them, ask them questions. It's called a conversation, not a difficult thing to do, and you can do it civilly. Okay? And frankly, no one cares about the lore from your latest video game. Not in the real world. No one cares what you did last Friday. No one cares about the great Discord conversation you had. No one cares. You're having a conversation about a subject. Have a conversation with the subject. If you don't know the answer to something, do not bullshit your way out of it. Say, I don't know the answer to that. I'll have to do some research. And then go find the damn answer. Do the research. Don't be a creep. Don't be a fool. Don't be an idiot. Find out what you need to know about. You know what? I'd love to answer that, but I don't have enough information in front of me right now. I don't have the numbers in front. I don't have the data in front of me. I need to learn more before I can answer that question effectively. I don't know. I don't know is one of the greatest answers ever invented. 3 simple words. English language, it's real easy. If you don't know something, it's perfectly acceptable to say, I don't know. No one thinks you're omniscient. As a matter of fact, most people in any conversation are going to assume that you're ignorant, and you prove it if you try to bullshit your way out of an answer. So don't do that. Plain language, say what you know, don't say what you don't. Let people know you don't know enough to answer that question. You don't have that information in front of you, but you'll find out. And the last thing, and I said this a couple times, but it's very important. If you are bringing a problem to your boss, bring a solution to go with it. If you are coming to your boss saying, boss, we got an issue here. We got a problem. It's got to be fixed. Oh, my God. Bring an idea for a solution. Your boss may not go with him. They may disagree. They may disagree wholeheartedly. I'll tell you a great story while I got the time. in Montana, in Glacier National Park, there is a peninsula that comes down from Canada. It crosses the imaginary line into the United States, and the port of entry there is called Goat Haunt. And the Boy Scouts get a merit badge for hiking down the Goat Haunt Trail, and it's an open port of entry, so Customs and Border Protection keeps an officer there during the summer months, and their job is to stamp the passports of the Boy Scouts so that they can get their merit badge. And it sounds ridiculous and a huge expenditure of money, because to get there every day, CBP sends officers up to Canada, down onto that peninsula, has their weapons shipped, all this stuff. It costs like $100,000 a month or something crazy during the summertime in order to man this port of entry, just so Boy Scouts can have their merit badge. And anytime Customs has tried to do away with it, of course, the Senate members and the House Representative members from Montana say, no, you're going to keep it open. And it's the way life works in D.C. So the Western Region Director is giving a presentation to all the executives one time about Goat Haunt, how much it costs and what a drain it is on resources and everything. And I was getting close to what I thought would be my retirement. I was wrong at the time, but anyway, so at the end of the presentation, I was walking out, and there is the number one person for Blue Customs walking there. And I went to this guy and I said, "I've got an idea, boss." He looked at me and said, "What?" I said, "I got an idea." I said, "You just got a problem. I'm giving you a solution." I said, "Okay, what is it?" And I said, "Well, I tell you what, I'll supply my own RV. I'll pay my way to get there, and I will work from ice out to freeze up all summer long, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for the salary I'm making right now, and I'll cover it for you, which will cost you less than 2 months' time that this Goat Haunt port is open, and I'll go up there and live there and run this port for you." And he goes, "Well, what's the trade-off?" And I said, "I want the rest of the year off." I thought it was a fair deal. He told me to go do something physically impossible. Didn't hurt me emotionally, but there was a problem. I offered a solution. When you got a problem, offer a solution. The boss may not like your solution. They may love it. They may tell you, "Go forth, conquer, make it happen." But they don't have to like it. But at least you had a solution. They will have respect for you at that point. You will not just be some asshole annoying them. So that's the recap for this show. I cannot stress some of these things enough, particularly electronic communication. Just, come on, guys. Stay off the goddamn email and texts. It's just bad business. I can't say it enough. All right. That's it. It is time for Bullshit Bingo Roulette. Now, to be clear, during COVID, I spent 3 years working from home, sitting on my couch, and every time I'd get in a meeting, I would hear government employees use these words that they've made to make themselves sound smart when they are in fact average. And I wrote them down, 7 pages on this little notebook, just as I sat on the couch writing it away. And the game, if you don't remember, Bullshit Bingo is everybody who's doing the game writes down 5 of these bullshit words, and you go into a meeting, and if your 5 words get said by anybody in the room over the course of the meeting, you got to shout the word bingo in the middle of the meeting. Yes, this is how professionals act in Washington, D.C. Your tax dollars at work. But today we're going to take one of those pages, and I'm going to close my eyes, and I'm going to let my finger fall right there on the page, and whichever word it lands on, I'm going to give you my bullshit bingo description. So here we go. Bullshit bingo roulette. 1, 2, 3. And that word is carve out. It's a phrase. Phrase, not a word. A carve out. We're going to give you a carve out. It comes from Congress. It's about Congress, or if you're a cop, the Attorney General, or, whatever. Someone has made a rule. Someone made up a policy. Okay? Or Congress is throwing money at something, or is, put forth a requirement for an agency to do something. And they're gonna carve out a section of that to accommodate you in your job. And the one thing I remember that jumps out at me, I said Attorney General, is because I was working for Customs at headquarters, and of course I was the immigration guy. And the Attorney General, I believe it was Obama's last Attorney General, so Eric Holder, came out with a rule that said no federal law enforcement can discriminate against nationality, as one of many things, but nationality was one of them, which sounds absolutely reasonable, unless you're an immigration officer, in which case the first thing you do is discriminate based on nationality. That's the basis of the position. Now, whatever you think about ICE or CBP or the Border Patrol or any other crap, I don't care. But the fact is when you're an immigration officer, your job is to discriminate based on nationality. U.S. citizen, I can't put immigration charges against you. Have a nice day. Anything else, you're an alien. I can put immigration charges on you. So I'm discriminating. So they had to give us a carve-out. And it would be one thing if someone casually said, well, we're going to carve this out for you guys. No, it becomes known as the carve-out. Oh, you got the immigration carve-out. And it just becomes known that way because they use that word because it sounds cool and fancy. That's Washington, D.C. in a nutshell. Just use plain spoken language, guys. I'm on your side. I'm rooting for you. Love you guys. Just talk normal. With that, we'll leave it alone. This ends another episode of Stop Complaining, Work Harder. Hope you guys got as much out of it as I did put into it. And I will see you next time. Have a great day. Davis out.